Welcome to Asian Star Trend. Our channel updates hot news about Asia's most popular stars. Please subscribe and comment to help us update better videos in an industry where love stories often feel scripted. Yulong and Mie Mie have become an unexpected phenomenon, proof that some emotions cannot be staged. This time, it's clear, Yulong has completely fallen under Mie Mie's spell. He stands beside her with the quiet devotion of a man who has found his center, while her gaze never strays, as if the entire world exists only in the outline of his figure. Their connection defies the tempo of modern entertainment, a world that changes by the minute and rarely leaves room for anything real. But every time these two appear together, they ignite something different, an innocence that feels both nostalgic and new. It isn't the overproduced sweetness that fans are used to. It's subtler, unpolished, and perhaps because of that, far more captivating. What makes their story so magnetic is unpredictability. They never follow the formula for public romance. There are no grand declarations, no rehearsed gestures. Instead, there are stolen glances that speak louder than words, the kind of silences that feel heavier than applause. Fans describe watching them as discovering love all over again, not through spectacle, but through presence. Every encounter between Yulong and Mie Mie feels like a reminder, behind the glamour, two people are learning to love without fear. And as you watch them, you may realize something rare in today's entertainment. Sometimes the most beautiful love stories are the ones that can't be manufactured, only lived in the shimmering chaos of show business, where affection often feels like a calculated performance. Yulong and Mie Mie have quietly built a love story that refuses to be staged. Take, for instance, their recent retro-style date. It wasn't a publicity stunt, nor was it choreographed. Yet for those who caught a glimpse, it felt like a page torn from a timeless romance. The fish and dragon pairing, once just an on-screen fantasy, slipped effortlessly into full-on couple mode. Yulong's famously sharp eyes softened, almost shy, like a lamb gazing at the only person left in the world. It's in moments like these that love reveals its most disarming truth. It strips away all pretense. This transformation is what fascinates fans most. For years, Yulong was seen as an untouchable male god, cool and aloof, a figure people admired from a distance. Now, he has become the very definition of a love brain, the man who wears his heart on his sleeve. Every glance carries warmth, every word an unguarded tenderness. Those who have followed him the longest admit to being caught off guard by the sheer openness of it all, and so the whispers grow louder. This is what love does, fans say. Some sigh in amazement, others, half-jokingly, plead for another kiss. What they are really marveling at, though, is the way love, unfiltered, unplanned, can turn even the most composed into someone who simply feels. Watching Yulong and Mie Mie together, you get the sense that in a world addicted to spectacle, the rarest magic is sincerity. And perhaps that is why their story has become one everyone wants to believe in. In truth, what moves people most is never the grand, public declarations of love. It is the quiet details, the kind that unfold in daily life without an audience. Between Yulong and Mie Mie, those details are everywhere, in the way his gaze instinctively seeks hers, in the unconscious gestures that align them as if the rest of the world has fallen away. These moments, unplanned and unspoken, are far more dangerous and far more powerful than any line of sweet talk could ever be. For years, Yulong's image had been carved in stone, the distant, almost untouchable figure with the cool, refined air of a classic CEO. On screen and off, he carried himself like a man above the fray, and even in interviews he was careful, weighing every word, keeping a polite but unmistakable distance, like a flower blooming so high it could only be admired from afar. But since meeting Mie Mie, something has shifted. It is as if he has strapped himself to a rocket and flown straight into a different universe. These days, the icy composure has melted. When he slips into what fans affectionately call sheep mode, his entire face betrays him. The corners of his mouth curve upward without warning, and his eyes soften until they seem to spill over with tenderness. That, perhaps, is the miracle of love. It transforms without asking permission. And in the case of Yulong, the man once defined by control has discovered that losing himself in her is the only freedom that matters. Love, at its purest, is not just an emotion, it is a force. It strips away defenses, softens pride, and allows someone to stand completely unguarded. To love without reservation is to love deeply. And by all accounts, Yulong has fallen, irrevocably, into the depth even those within the industry can't hide their surprise. Friends tease him, "Yulong, you're finished this time." Mie Mie clearly holds the remote control to your heart. The remark is playful, but it carries a truth that everyone can see. The man who once kept the world at arm's length has opened every door for her. That retro date wasn't just a casual outing, it felt like a love letter written in the language of time. Together, they curated every detail, the outfits, the scenery, the mood. Mie Mie, in a vintage dress with soft curls, looked like a heroine from an old movie. Yulong, in a classic suit, exuded the quiet charisma of a timeless gentleman. They walked together as if stepping out of another era. What captured hearts, however, were not the aesthetics but the small, almost invisible gestures. The way he adjusted the hem of her dress without a word. The way he leaned in gently to ask if she was tired. The way he chose her favorite dishes before she even asked. These moments were so natural, so unperformed, that fans couldn't help but exclaim, "This isn't a drama, this is real life." The beauty of love, perhaps, lies in these details. When someone invests in small, ordinary moments, when they build a private universe out of care and attention, it is proof that their heart is no longer their own. In the dazzling, noisy entertainment industry where every word is dissected, every gesture magnified and spun into headlines, it is rare to find a relationship that feels real and unguarded. That is why one quiet sentence from Yulong has stayed with so many. "Being with her makes me feel at ease, like I can just be myself." Many mistake love for fireworks, for passion that races the heart. But lasting relationships are rarely built on spectacle. The most precious bond is one where you can simply be. No masks, no tiptoeing, no need to perform. And for Yulong, Mie Mie has become that sanctuary. As a public figure, Yulong lives in a world of constant scrutiny. Every move is questioned, every word weighed. To find someone in that environment who makes you feel safe and unjudged is a rare gift. It speaks volumes about the kind of refuge Mie Mie has created for him, because true love, the kind that endures, is not just about passion. It's about safety. It is not born from pretty words but from trust, understanding, and the knowledge that you are accepted exactly as you are. In an industry where relationships bend and break under pressure, their connection feels unshakable. Yulong describes Mie Mie as his safe harbor, the place where he can lay down his armor. And that, perhaps, is the most precious part of love. It frees you. It makes you softer, more confident, more authentic, not a cage, but a release. Since their relationship became public, every step they take has been under the microscope. And yet what catches people's attention is not a flashy gesture or scandal, it's the way they look at each other, the quiet, effortless understanding that speaks louder than words. Take their recent retro-style date, which sent the internet into a frenzy. In an age when dating often means nothing more than sitting across from each other, glued to separate phone screens, Yulong and Mie Mie offered a masterclass in what connection really looks like. This was no casual outing. Every detail had been considered, the outfits, the mood, the setting. Mie Mie, in a vintage dress and soft curls, looked like she had stepped out of a black and white film. Yulong, in a tailored suit, was the picture of a timeless gentleman. Together, they turned an ordinary city street into a love letter to another era. But it wasn't the aesthetics that captured hearts. It was the little things, Yulong quietly adjusting her dress, asking softly if she was tired, picking out her favorite dishes without a word. None of it was for show. These gestures, small, sincere, are what made people watching online whisper, "This isn't a drama. This is real life." The beauty of love lies exactly there, in the ordinary. When someone pays attention to what you need without being asked, when they create beautiful memories out of care rather than obligation, it is a sign of a heart fully committed. Industry colleagues joke with him now, "Yulong, you're done for this time." Looks like Mie Mie has the remote control to your heart. And maybe they're right. The once untouchable cold male god, who measured every word in interviews and seemed like a flower forever out of reach, has become warm, tender, and, in his own words, completely himself. Fans call this version of him sheep mode when his famously composed face softens into a smile and his gaze follows her like sunlight. It's the kind of change that no script could fake. The fish and dragon pairing, nicknamed for their names, but now affectionately expanded by fans to fish, dragon, and sheep, has become more than an on-screen fantasy. They embody something that people long for in real life, a love that is both sweet and grounded, dreamlike yet real. Perhaps that's why their story resonates so widely. Because watching Yulong and Mie Mie together, you're reminded that love doesn't have to be loud to be extraordinary. It doesn't have to be perfect to be powerful. It just has to make you feel like you belong. And as their retro date proved, sometimes the simplest acts, holding hands, adjusting a hem, looking into someone's eyes without distraction, are enough to move an entire nation. This isn't just the story of a celebrity couple. It's a story about what we all hope for: to be seen, to be understood, and to be loved without conditions. In a world that moves so fast, may we all be lucky enough to find our own version of this love that lets us exhale, that makes us more ourselves. And maybe, as you watch them, you'll believe again that such a thing still exists.